And welcome back. This is session number 4 with Leadership Talk with Dr. Andre and Adam. I'm Adam Tim with The Healthy Dispatcher, joined here by Dr. Andre Jones, again, beaming in from Qatar. Thanks so much for joining today, or evening for you, tonight for you.
Yes, evening for me, yes. It's your future. It's been a great day. It's going to be a great day for all of you, I can tell you.
Thank you. Thank you for that. So if you haven't been tuning in to the last 3 sessions, today's session is talk about what you can do to show up as a leader individually. We're also going to talk about initiatives that you might be able to implement at your center as a formal leader. So you're a supervisor, you're a manager, you're a director, and you want to start an action committee at your center. You want to have a focus group. You want to start involving more people in a change initiative. We're going to talk about that. Andre has shared that back in his darker days as a baby dispatcher, he was known as General Jones, meaning he didn't have the most savory approach to his work. I, unfortunately, was referred to by my former coworkers at LAPD Communications Division as Angry Adam during my darker days. And we're both going to share some of the things that helped us get out of those times to be more like the leaders we wanted to have and see. So let's start out from the organizational context. Andre, if I'm in a leadership role and I want to help my organization thrive and be the type of leader that my center needs, what are some things that I can start doing today to be that leader?
Buy this book. No, I'm really serious. This is a really good book, People-Driven Leadership. I like it. One reason, well, many reasons, because it's very specific to our industry. One of the things that I found that I wanted to do way back in the day, when I decided, you know what, I'm here to stay and I want to be in a leadership position, I need to go and do some professional personal development, which meaning going back to school. There wasn't a lot very specific to 911. Research, as far as we're concerned, emergency management, which this falls under, is very, very new. And having books like this as a good guide, as a good foundation to create framework, and to get your mind thinking about, okay, these are some things I need to consider, and questions that I can ask myself to make sure I'm on the right track. And even understand, is this actually the world I want to get into? A lot of people think when they become a supervisor, it's about being the best dispatcher. It is, in fact, I can tell you, not about being the best dispatcher. They don't tell you about all of the people, the emotional intelligence, the interpersonal relationship skills required to be a supervisor. And so you have to start there. You've got to do some soul searching, which starts with, doing some reading. It may not be this book, but some book or some material related to some type of leadership.
I love that. Thank you. And thank you for the plug for the viewers. That was not planned at all. I every time someone in your position, meaning someone who's doing the hard work of leadership at a communications center, finds value in that book, which is basically a story of the 30 or 40 managers and directors that I interviewed for the book. I say, oh, great. That's why we put it out there. That's why we have these conversations, so that we can share what we know works. So awesome. And thank you for that. So aside from the personal development perspective as a leader, what are some things that leaders can do at their center to begin to positively impact the culture? Are there specific initiatives? Are there specific actions I can take? Is it as simple as instead of going to your office right when you come into work and shutting the door and attacking that stack of papers in your inbox, is there some other thing that we can be doing?
Yeah, I think at varying degrees, especially this week. I know that there's a lot of centers around the world, around the globe, that have leadership that probably don't even know this week is National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. Why is that? Because there's not been a mechanism to communicate first that you as the people, the individuals on the front line, the heroes in the headset, value that. So I think it's conversation. It's let's talk. It's in some kind of employee action group, no matter how big or small the center is, a way to communicate the needs, the wants, the desires, the aversions of the frontline staff and open that dialogue and keep it open to be able to appreciate and understand in both areas, both ways. So for example, you've got leaders and managers, they have initiatives and things that they need to get accomplished. So that door open helps you understand the rationale and the purpose and their why. And then it's a mutual thing. So I definitely like that as a tool. Obviously doing some things related to reading and standards. I think both APCO and NINA have a good platform for being able to develop the various standards. They have a new one now on protect the well-being of 911 professionals. I think where we're at now is being able to really understand how to implement those. So once we got the foundation of, okay, this is the material, then it's digesting in small wins, how to be able to implement it. And it does, trust me, it's overwhelming. It's a lot of information, but then you just, you digest it and just find something within your agency that you can actually, to do. It's not, let's throw a big conference. It could, and I know we get tired of the pizza parties and the donuts and stuff like that, but it's very, very, small wins that allow you to be able to show that you're appreciated, but as well that that shared sense of values is escalated up to those who would otherwise be, your managers and leaders.
If I wanted to put together a working group, a steering committee, an action committee, using the term that you use, which is representative of the staff, to have these meaningful conversations about where we are, where we could go, what we need to do to get there. Who am I looking for? If I'm a manager or supervisor, who am I looking for to be a participant in these conversations on the committee?
Well, there's several different types of these types of forums that you can have. I found that most of the ones that are very effective are those that do not necessarily involve the leader or the formal manager or the director. The reason why is because when they're having their discussions about what it is they want to do, they're less likely to talk because they feel like, oh, well, this person isn't here. They're not as engaged. So you need to find a champion, someone that you feel has the bending ear at a certain level, usually a supervisor or manager, someone that you believe that if they do speak on your behalf, they're going to be able to relay your message. So again, there's different types, but the one that I find that works very, very well is you have this group of people that has a champion. Everybody in the front line usually is not involved, but you have a representative of each team, for example, or each station or group, like if you have quality or training departments, and then they come together and they talk about those things that are important to them, and then address those within the focal point, if you will. Because again, the leaders or managers don't always have the opportunity to sit with the staff. They find it, to be honest with you, sometimes intimidating. I've been in conferences or sessions with a bunch of people, and it's like, oh, this is how they feel. And I think you have to be open, to having those conversations. So at least initially, you may ask that. We'll send a representative, we'll get the feedback, and then maybe in ongoing sessions, you invite them in. Also presenting. You may have these conversations that you're having, but when you finally decide as a group what it is that you want to do, present it to them in a presentation format that allows them to be able to receive the information in the way that they would normally receive it.
I love that. Thank you for that. And so you're looking for someone who is influential already, who is seen in a certain light by the rest of the staff, so that they're able to get feedback that's useful or valuable. What if there isn't a clear person like that at a center who has raised their hand because they don't want to be seen as Oh, you're a manager, you're a management sympathizer. You want to be, you're just a butt kisser. You want to be a manager someday. So we don't want to be part of that. What do you do to confront those very real considerations from a cultural perspective that might get in the way of putting together a group like that?
I think at the onset, if there's agreement with the group of their purpose, just like there's a mission for the organization, this group, this team that you're forming should also have some type of shared value. So they have their own mission statement. What is the purpose of that? So regardless of who's representing them, the understanding is that you're representing us based on the agreed terms of reference. This is what we want to do. This is how we're going to track this, to make it informal conversation, but as formal as you can, to make sure you're getting something out of it. I mean, yeah, it's great that we can have a conversation and talk about it. What do we really want, right? We want results. So you have to be able to have this mechanism, regardless of who's representing you, that they're still going to be able to do that. And you're going to be challenged, to be able to do that. But I think it's probably it could potentially be your best way in. Yes, they're the butt kisser, but at the same time, it's great because that means that the people that aren't the butt kissers, that the management that will never want in their face, will be there representing you. So it's not a bad thing.
I like that perspective. Yeah, and I mean, it's really speaks to furthering the relationship before you go and ask for involvement. You have to work at establishing that relationship so you can hear what the people really think. And I find that if you don't have mission, purpose, values clearly defined for your center, particularly or specifically now, you can start with the shared goal of, we all know that the status quo doesn't work. We're at 50% staffing. We can't hire any more people. We're all working mandatory overtime. We would like things to be different, right? And people, you could get people, you could build consensus around that in itself. And then the next question is, okay, great. Let's all be part of that. What might that look like? So starting from wherever you are is important. And then as you become more defined in the goals, you can have these more formal values, vision, purpose, mission statements. What do you think we can do more of individually to make sure that we are practicing what we preach? So if I say, well, I'm not part of the problem, I don't know what all this mumbo jumbo is all about, how can we ensure that we're part of the solution instead of the problem at our centers?
That's a tough one because, again, like we've been saying, is that we have people that are in the organization for different reasons, right? There are people that want to be there and they're going to be the champions. They're going to be the people that are sitting at the table with the ideas and being part of the participative innovativeness that, that's building us to the next level. Then you have those that, I just want to do my hours and I want to go home. It's important to understand. You may not be able to change their way, but in understanding and being the same empathetic ear that you would request from them, you're able to appreciate their perspective and potentially use that to either sway them or at least minimize or reduce the impact of what they're going through and or how it impacts others. We have rules, we have, policies and procedures, but as we know, sometimes the policy conformance is very inconsistent. And a lot of it is to, protect other people, our favorites, or otherwise not, cause too many issues for other people who may not our favorites, but they may be going through something that you don't need to understand because it's not your business. But we keep pushing that button, right? We're like, well, you don't do this to this person. Well, if I told you their story, you probably would know why. But it's those little things. It's the talking, it's the conversations. We can't be afraid of that, no matter how exhausting it may seem.
I love that. Yeah. And I mean, this is the recurring theme throughout these 4 conversations, is that communicating, and it jives with what the research says from an organizational development perspective. It goes along with what you found around organizational commitment. What I found in the conversations leading to the People-Driven Leadership book is that the best centers are in constant communication with each other. Like I say the best centers collectively are constantly talking with each other. So the leaders are talking with other leaders, the supervisors are talking with each other. Everyone's talking up and down the hierarchy about what we're creating together and why it matters. Every single touch point is an opportunity to further the organization's collective goals, and that's a place to start those conversations. Like, what are we creating here? And if the extent of the vision is to answer the next call, we need to aspire to something higher, because call after call after call, broadcast after broadcast, it's a tough slog if I'm not connected with some higher meaning or vision for why we work so hard.
No, completely, absolutely right. And as you said, the studies have shown that most people who lose that effective commitment and they're no longer inspired with the job are the people who lose that disconnect. And it starts from the very, very beginning. If you're beating up the same people that you're trying to get to help you, like, why do we do that? They're not going to be committed to the cause. So we need to change our ways and find synergies, if you will, to be able to allow them to keep that family, that connection. Yeah, dysfunction families can often be dysfunctional, but that's not where we should be. And I think we've been there so long, we don't know how to move away from that in many instances. And that was where it was really important for me to do this study in New Orleans, because I felt like there was something there that, again, like you said, we need to share with others so we can make sure that, this is pervasive attitude, if you will, throughout other centers, not just there.
Absolutely. And I think what we're speaking to is the fact that the problems that plague our PSAPs are universal. We are all grappling with very similar issues door to door, but the solutions are also universally applicable. And the more we talk with other people who are grappling with similar challenges, the more we will find the solutions that can move the needle, and quality through continuous improvement. We just got to keep at it, because eventually we'll find something that works. Dr. Andre, thank you so much for taking time. These last 4 conversations have been wonderful for me. I've learned a lot. I mean, it seems like you and I could talk for a few hours, and it would the river would not run dry. It's fantastic. Thank you so much.
No, thank you, Adam, for having me. I've enjoyed the conversations as well. I hope that the audience gets a lot out of it and they have a very, very nice telecommunicator week.
Yeah, absolutely. On that note, happy Telecommunicators Week, National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. You are a superhero. Thank you for the work that you do each and every day to keep your community safe. We see you. Enjoy the rest of your festivities.